So it is Sunday morning and I've just been editing the video that's going to go out this afternoon, and then I've had an order come through. This came through late Friday, so I don't post over the weekend. So I'm just getting this ready for Monday morning. So I sold these beautiful, which you'll have seen in another video. They're like a cluster, so lovely yellow and clear beads that have been clustered together to make these little flowers. So these are clip-on earrings. They've got brass clips on the back, and then these are made in Austria. So these sold for £15. So I'm going to wrap them in a bit of bubble wrap, a bit of tissue paper, pop them in here. So yeah, let's get them wrapped up and ready. That's all boxed up and ready to go tomorrow. Hopefully there'll be some more orders overnight because things are picking up. I think people are starting to think about Christmas and kind of spreading out the cost and picking up gifts. So you will have seen when I made these, I think I put it in another video. So this was a happy mistake. So I was making a huge spiral pendant, and when I hammered it, it started to change shape. So the spirals were moving about, and then I discovered that I quite liked that off center look. So I've used some silver plated wire to kind of bind that side, and yeah, I fell in love with it. So I have one of these that I wear myself, and then I put some on Etsy to sell, and I made them as a set. So this comes with a excuse me, what, a silver tone like choker necklace, and then I made some matching earrings as well, so little versions of the larger spiral. And a lady purchased the set, so that was lovely. She also purchased 2 other pairs of handmade earrings, and the 4th item was a vintage item as well. So that was a lovely order to post out. That was going down to Devon, which is cool. So I picked these vintage picture dominoes up some time ago, and they've just been sat in a cupboard because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with them. But I absolutely love these vintage cartoony images. So I'm going to have a go at turning these into a necklace. Let's see how we get on. Right, I am back. So I've just done a little short video of upcycling these little picture dominoes. So I bought these a while ago. They're just cardboard, quite thick actually, so they're quite hard to cut through, but I've managed to slice these up, and I decided to go for the cat. Love that cat. And then also the fishes. And I've managed, really chuffed with this, managed to make a necklace. Oh, I absolutely love it. I'm not sure whether I need to add a jump ring here as well, just to give a bit of stability to the shape. But I love that necklace. Really chuffed with that. Really super fun and colourful. So I wanted to show you some of the new things that I've got recently for my packaging. So anybody who follows me on a regular basis will know that sustainability is really important to me. So I reuse, I recycle, I upcycle, I repurpose, I use everything that I have, so nothing goes to waste. And when it comes to packaging, I try and make sure that I use recycled packaging and also packaging that can be recycled again. So since the online shop opened, I thought about what I wanted to package things in, and I also wanted to have a bit more of a professional look as well, because in the past I've kind of printed my own business cards and they're okay, but they look kind of home printed, if you know what I mean. They're not super good quality. So I did a bit of research and I found a company in the UK called EcoCraft, and they're all about sustainability, recycling and all that stuff. So I had a look at their packaging, and they have these fantastic 100% recycled cardboard jewellery boxes. So I wanted them particularly for earrings, because I make more earrings than I do anything else, but also they'd be good for pendants and stud earrings as well. So These are die cut and they come flat, which is fantastic. So the benefit of that is that they're great for storage. Because they're flat packed, they take up such a tiny amount of space, which is brilliant. So as you'll know, my branding colours are black, gold, light grey, and then a white background. So I love black packaging. So these are my jewellery boxes. And what you do is, on the website, they've got a little video and some instructions on how you fold these up, but they're super, super easy. And another benefit is that you don't need any glue either. So when you do fold them all together, they're structured in a way that they hold their shape. And this card is quite thick. They're really, really good quality, which is brilliant. So I've put one together. So this is what they look like when they're in one piece. They've got these little arched areas where you can lift the lid off. And there we go. So as you can see, they hold their shape really, really well. I absolutely love these. And like I said, these are 100% recycled material, and then they can be recycled again, or people can keep them and keep their jewellery inside. And then on the front, I have my printed branded stickers, which I'm going to continue to do myself because they're super simple. I designed the logo myself as well. I can print those at home. And I love them, absolutely love them. I'm really, really chuffed with those. And I love the fact that they're flat pack and you can just pop them in a cupboard and they don't take up too much space. And then I only need to make them up as and when I need them, which is just fantastic. And the company was really good. They shipped quite quickly. You know, you got emails as things happened. And then I found out from following them on Facebook that they also now have a printing service. So I went over and had a look, and again, it's the same kind of ethos. They use recycled materials and they do business cards. So instead of printing my own, I thought, now I have a new logo and I've got my branding colours and my online shop open, I would treat myself to some printed business cards, which I've never done before, which is probably a good thing because I've been on Etsy for a long time. I think it's since 2014, and I've had 3 different businesses. I think I started out as Earthly Offerings. Oh no, I started out as Crafty Like a Fox. And I sold loads of different crafts at that time, didn't have a niche. And then I was Earthly Offerings because everything was kind of nature based. And then it was the vintage side of things came in, and eventually my own handmade jewellery. So the 9 Lives and Beyond is really fitting for both the vintage and the jewellery, because my jewellery features upcycled vintage elements. That 9 Lives and Beyond kind of fits both halves of my business. So it will be staying and I am really happy with it. So this is a little box that they came in. So I ordered 500 and the price was really reasonable as well. So these are printed double-sided. Nothing fancy in terms of coatings or coverings or what have you, because I want these to be recyclable as well. So people sometimes just throw all that stuff in the bin, and these can obviously get recycled, which is awesome. So I did my own design on Canva. I looked on the website to check the sizing details and just did a template in Canva and transferred my logo and information. And this is the result. So they've got the nice grey background. They have the gold dots and then the dots in the lettering as well. The lettering is an Art Deco style. And then on the reverse are all my social medias and contact details and a little bit of information about what I do. And I absolutely love them. I think they're really, really nice. I'm really happy with the colours. I love how it looks in print. The black really stands out. And then the gold kind of adds that bit of Art Deco kind of luxury feel. So yeah, I'm super, super chuffed with those. So what I'm going to do is, to kind of draw traffic to the website, is when people order on Etsy, I'll put the business cards in the orders so that people can kind of have a look and go over to the website and have a nosy. And the fact that they're both made from 100% recycled materials is just fantastic. I would encourage you, if you're looking for that type of packaging, head over to EcoCraft. They're fantastic. They've got all kinds of packaging as well. They do like food packaging, they do their biodegradable food bag things, a little cellophane bag packages and envelopes and boxes and all sorts. So yeah, check them out. So that's my new packaging update, and then you'll probably see behind me I've got this metal guard thingy. So I bought this either earlier this year or last year, I can't remember, and it was after I had done the Witches' Fair. I decided that, because it was the first time I'd done an event, I needed something on the table that created height, so different height, so it kind of draws people's eye into different things. And I had a look at kind of typical jewellery stands and stuff, and they were a bit boring, and there wasn't anything tall enough really. So this behind me is actually a fire screen. So you would put this in front of a fireplace. It was from the range and it was in the sale, and I think it was only something like £25 delivered. So it has, I love this kind of chevron look because that fits with my Art Deco theme, and it's black, so it fits with the colours, but it's also got a mesh metal at the back there, so I can hook things on. So I thought I could hook earrings on. And then what I'm also going to do is down the centrepiece, I'm going to have a piece of gold fabric where I can pin brooches to. So there'll be earrings either side, and then down the centre the gold strip with brooches pinned on, because I think that'll look lovely. And then there'll be other kind of heights, other things, boxes and things that I'm going to have other jewellery stood on. I'm kind of working on how that's all going to come together at the minute. I have a fair in November and then one in December, and I've also applied for another event in November, but I'm not sure whether that will be whether I'll be a fit for that one. So you have to apply, and the venue is a very artsy venue, so I don't know if I'll be their cup of tea. But if you don't have a go, you don't know, do you? So I filled the application in, I sent my photographs in, and the deadline is the 30th of September. And then I guess they'll just let me know whether or not they want to invite me to have a stall. So yes, I thought in preparation I better think about how I'm going to display everything. And I want it to look professional. I want it to look really smart. I want it to be all my branded colours. So I'm considering having the tables that tend to be at the events are like 6 foot or 5 foot by 2 foot tables. And I have a nice black tablecloth, but I was thinking of getting a white runner with my logo printed on the front, and then having a gold table runner as well, so that fits with all my colours. They're not expensive to have printed, and then you've kind of got that and it'll last. People say they're really good quality, and some people say they last you years, which would be awesome. So it'd be a nice investment to have something like that done for it to look professional. So yeah, that's what I'm considering. And then I've just had a busy week. I've had a busy week of making. So I think you saw in the video before that a lady had bought one of my spiral jewellery sets. So one of the off-centre mixed metal spirals. And I absolutely love these. So I wear mine all the time. And I thought I better make some more so that I've got enough stock for Christmas. And then if I do this extra event as well, the spiral collection will probably be the collection that I take with me to sell. So it'll be very, very different to the Witches' Fair. So the Witches' Fair is very kind of gothic and witchy and all things magical and mystical, which is right up my street. Whereas this other event would be a little bit more kind of my own designs and more of a focus on, if I can say it, I'm struggling with my words today, sustainability. So they were really keen to have stall holders that had a focus on sustainability, which I think I definitely fit in that respect. So I upcycle, reuse, recycle, and yeah, hopefully they see that and they value that and they like my designs. But equally, I won't be disappointed if I'm not a fit, because I was kind of 50-50 as to whether or not I would be their cup of tea. So we'll see. And the last thing I wanted to show you today was just a little haul that I got from Vinted. So I have a few jewellery pieces, and then this is jewellery making materials. So I often scour Vinted for making materials and tools as well, because if you are into jewellery making or you're considering making your own jewellery, tools can be quite expensive, and if you're considering making jewellery to sell, I would really advise that you have a go first, because a lot of people think that selling jewellery is super easy, but it is a really saturated area of the market. So you really need to be quite committed and really invested in it. So if you wanted to just give it a try and kind of dip your toes in the water, I would consider buying some second-hand tools and materials because they'll be so much more cheaper. There are a lot of people out there who have had a go and decided it's not for them for whatever reason, and then they sell all their tools off in a bundle. So on Vinted, excuse me, you will find that people sell all of their stuff in a bundle. So they might sell all of their beads in a grouping, they might sell all of their findings or all of their tools, their pliers, their shaping tools, and you can get them so much more cheaper. And it's a way of being able to start out when you don't have much money, so you can buy things quite cheap, but also, you know, if you get a few months in and you decide it's not for you, you haven't wasted loads of money, and you can resell it yourself. You could just bang it all back on Vinted or eBay and just sell it on to somebody else who can use it. So I'm often very much drawn to the same materials, and for the sake of variety and pushing me out of my comfort zone, it's often good to buy a bundle that has things in that I wouldn't usually use, because that adds something else to the things that I'm making, particularly the upcycled stuff. I'm very much into thrifting and buying secondhand. I do not support fast fashion. I do not support Temu, AliExpress, these mass-produced Chinese, you know, manufacturers who just bang loads of stuff out. They often copy other designers' work as well, which I really don't support. There's a lot of people in the Etsy community that produce beautiful pieces of handmade jewellery. Then places like these big Chinese manufacturers steal their photographs and copy their designs, but in a very cheap and nasty way. And that, you know, I can't stand that. I think that's an awful thing to do to a handmade seller. So I don't support any of those platforms. I don't buy from any of those platforms. I will buy secondhand. I'm much more interested in using kind of vintage items, quirky and unusual items, and beads, vintage beads and modern beads, and fastenings as well. So this huge bag of stuff was listed for £6, and then you've got your protection fee and your postage fee. Now £6 was a fantastic price, so I favorited the item with the full intention of purchasing it later that day. And by the time it got to later in the day, the person had sent me an offer of £4, and I was like, oh my god, that is like a massive bargain. So I bought it straight away. She posted straight away, which was awesome. She must have just been keen to kind of just get rid of stuff. She had some other jewellery making things on there. But this is a mixture. So this is a mixture of findings. There's some beads and stuff in here, some charms, some threads, cords. So I'll show you a couple of the bits, but this entire bag was only £4, which is amazing. And then with the postage and the protection fee, I think it came to like £7.50. Now, some of the things in here are not my cup of tea, but I think I mentioned in another video that I am putting some things to one side for a friend's child for Christmas. I'm going to do her a little box of all jewellery making stuff. So anything that doesn't fit my style will be going in there. So for example, these are not my cup of tea, although they are quite quirky. So little pineapples and little lemons. So they'll be going in my friend's little box of doings. But you imagine if you were to buy those, they'd cost you more than £4. And these are only like 2 of the items out of the entire bag. So if you pick out a couple of the things. Now, these alone are expensive. Jump rings, and particularly the stronger jump rings, the thicker jump rings, which I quite often use because when you're doing assemblage jewellery, if you hang in a lot of charms or a lot of things, then they can be quite weighty and you need very strong jump rings, especially when they're not soldered. So that's a box of silver tone ones, they're stainless steel. And then these are, I forgot what they call these, split rings. There we go, all different sizes. Now a tub like that alone would cost you probably about £5.99 or more. And they look unused. And then that is a full tub of jump rings as well. So already that's, you know, your money back. And then there are a range of these charms. Now, I picked this lot because some of these charms will fit very well with the witchy theme. So there are some celestial ones. So there are sun and moon charms, and then some moon charms. So looking forward to using those. There are some other things I won't use, so they'll go in my friend's collection. but there is some cord as well. So black cotton waxed cord, some thinner cord for bracelet making, and some pink, which isn't my cup of tea, so that will go in my friend's little box of stuff. I'm doing really well. I've made lots of serpent stuff, so that's my serpent necklace, and I have my serpent earrings in today as well. So I've made some sets of those to take. I'm going to do some bracelets because I haven't made any bracelets yet. I'm going to do some more spiral collection items because they seem to do really well. I have some really super cute mushroomy style necklaces, which actually I'll go grab one now and you can have a sneak preview. So I'm really quite in love with these. I bought these little tiles from a lady on Vinted, and she beach combs and finds these little pieces of washed up tile or ceramics. People beachcomb for these quite often, and they like to find them with patterns on and then reuse them. So I loved the fact that this is another sustainable practice. And then what she's done is she has decoupaged nature things on the top. So she had a collection that were all mushrooms and leaves and berries. So if I hold that one up, you will see that's got a little mushroom on there, little porcini mushroom. So what I've done is I have attached a bail, and you can see the loop there, onto the back to turn them into pendants. And then I have put them onto some nice leather cord, and then I've hung them together, and I'm playing around with the other bits and pieces that are going to hang on here. So one of the things that I have made is we went foraging the other week because it's kind of getting into mushroom season and we like to go hunting for mushrooms. And whilst I was out there, all the acorns had dropped and the little hats, the acorn hats, were on the floor. So I picked some of those up. And then I thought I would make my own acorns to hang down from the necklaces. And I let them dry out, and then I had these beads. These are 1970s beads from one of those old... You used to have them hanging down in your doorway in the summer, so they'd be beaded, and it was to stop the flies from getting in, and they used to make a lovely jingle jangle sound when they moved. So I found a broken one in Scarborough, and I bought a massive bag of beads. So I've used the bead. I have attached the little cup, little hat to the top. I've drilled a little hole in so that I can hang it, and then I'm going to put some beads on here as well. But how super cute are those? So I've got some little fat ones, and then I've got some longer ones that look more like proper acorns, but these look like the ones when they first start bulbing out at the bottom. So I'm going to hang those from those as well. And I'm going to do them all different, so each tile has a different design on. She released some more the other day as well, so I bought some more. She did some gothic-y ones with like little potion bottles on, with skulls on, with beetles and crows, and yeah, it's such a brilliant idea. I do need to put like a coating on them because they're not waterproof, so I do need to maybe glaze the surface of them just to keep them intact and stop them from kind of getting scratched and stuff. But yeah, I'm quite excited about making those. So this is everything that was in the bag for the mighty sum of £4. And there were also some tools in there as well. There were 3 sets of jewellery pliers, which I've already taken out because I've started using those. But yeah, absolute bargain. And then these are the bits that I got in another Vinted lot. So some nice stud and clip-on earrings. Those bronze ones there with the chain, they're clip-ons. Those are some little enamelled ones. Got a nice beaded necklace, which I'm going to strip for the beads. This one I absolutely love. I sold a blue one like this not so long ago, and if I kind of zoom in, this is like a satin wrapped bead, and they always remind me of Christmas baubles. So decorations that used to look like that, big versions. And then a nice panelled bracelet with a different gemstone on each panel. Thought that was lovely. But then my favourite find were these. Now, these are stud earrings, but how beautiful are those? So they're made from mother of pearl. This is really kind of slim and fine, so you have to be careful with these. And then this silver tone triangle, and then a little slice of abalone shell as well. I thought they were really stylish. And I managed to get all of these in a lot from a lady all together. So yeah, I was quite chuffed with those.